Everywhere you look, people are asking the same question. AI stocks have already gone up so much. Nvidia has become too expensive. AI is a bubble. And honestly, I understand the concern. So, whenever a new technology emerges, excessive excitement always creates fear of a bubble. It happened during the internet boom, it happened during the railways and the electricity boom. But here's something interesting. Even after almost 3 years of AI excitement, we may still be in the very early innings because most investors are only looking at one company, that is Nvidia. Very few are looking at the entire AI value chain. And when you look at the complete picture, you realize something fascinating. The AI revolution is moving through a series of bottlenecks, and each bottleneck creates opportunity for different industries. So, friends, today let's understand the entire AI value chain, identify the future bottleneck, and see at which stage the AI cycle we are currently in. Because understanding the bottlenecks may be more important than predicting whether AI is a bubble or not. Chapter 1. Every industrial revolution has bottlenecks. See, think about the early automobile industry. Initially, the bottleneck was manufacturing the car. Then, roads became the bottleneck. And after road, fuel station became the bottleneck. Then, finally, financing and insurance scaled the industry further. The same thing happened with the internet. First, computers were scarce. Then, internet connectivity became the bottleneck. Later, cloud infrastructure became the bottleneck. Then, software platform like Google, Amazon, and Netflix captured the value. AI is following exactly the same pattern. The difference is that the AI value chain is much more complex. So, let's start with the foundation. Chapter 2. Compute bottleneck. So, today, the biggest bottleneck is compute. Training advanced AI models require enormous computing power. This is where companies like Nvidia and AMD come in. Nvidia designs the GPUs that power modern AI. AMD is trying to become the second major supplier. Without these chips, there is no ChatGPT, no Gemini, no cloud, and no AI. But GPUs alone are not enough. These chips require enormous amount of memory. This creates demand for memory companies like Micron, SK Hynix, etc., especially high bandwidth memory or HBM. In fact, for many AI systems today, memory availability itself has become a bottleneck. Several companies are waiting months simply because sufficient HBM memory is unavailable. So today the AI race is not just about GPUs. It's GPUs plus memory. And we are still very much in this stage. Chapter 3. Power becomes the bottleneck. Now suppose Nvidia suddenly doubles GPU production. Problem solved, right? Not really. Because AI data centers consume extraordinary amount of electricity. A single modern AI data center can consume as much electricity as a small city. Now, suddenly, power availability becomes the next bottleneck. And friends, this is already happening. Many hyperscalers are struggling to secure sufficient electricity for future AI projects. This is why companies associated with power generation are attracting investors' attention. For example, one of the largest nuclear power producers in US, that is Constellation Energy, developer of next gen small modular reactors, which are commonly known as SMRs, which is developed by Oklo, grid modernization companies like GE Vernova, Eaton, providing electrical equipment that enables data centers and grid upgrades. These companies operate in different parts of the electricity value chain, but all could benefit as AI drives unprecedented demand for power. Think about it in this way. A company has many billions of dollars. It may have access to Nvidia chip, but if the local power grid cannot support the data center, the project cannot proceed. No electricity, no AI. This may become one of the largest bottleneck of this decade. Chapter 4. Grid infrastructure bottleneck. Even if we generate enough electricity, another challenge emerges. How do we deliver that power to the data centers? Much of the world's electricity grid was built decades ago. It was never designed to support millions of AI chips running around the clock. That's why Transmission infrastructure is becoming just as important as power generation, such as transmission lines, substations, transformers, switchgears, grid management software. Every part of the grid needs to be upgraded. Companies like GE Vernova, Eaton, Quanta Services, and Hitachi Energy are helping modernize this critical infrastructure. The challenge is that building new transmission lines can take years, sometimes even longer than building the data center itself. So, even if we produce enough electricity, if the grid cannot deliver it where it needs to be, all AI projects could still face significant delays. Power generation is only half the equation. Getting the power to the data centers may become one of the biggest bottleneck of the AI era. Chapter 5: Cooling Bottleneck. Now imagine thousands of GPUs operating continuously. They generate enormous amount of heat. Traditional air cooling is no longer sufficient for many advanced AI systems. And this is where cooling infrastructure companies enter. Companies like Vertiv provide cooling, power management, and data center infrastructure. Liquid cooling is rapidly becoming essential. Without efficient cooling, AI chips cannot operate at maximum performance. For example, it's similar to putting a Formula One engine inside a car without a radiator. The engine exists, but it cannot run properly. Many experts believe cooling could remain a significant bottleneck over the next several years. Chapter 6: Energy Storage Bottleneck. Renewable energy is increasingly powering data centers. But renewable energy has a challenge. Solar power is intermittent, wind power is intermittent. AI workloads, however, operate 24 hours a day. And this creates demand for energy storage. Companies like Fluence and Tesla Energy provide large scale battery storage systems. Energy storage helps stabilize grid and ensure uninterrupted power supply. As AI infrastructure expands, energy storage may become increasingly important because AI cannot simply shut down when the sun sets. Chapter 7: The Sequence of the Future Bottlenecks. So, today, what is the likely sequence? Stage 1: Compute and memory. This is where we are today. Stage 2: Electricity generation, already emerging. Stage 3: Grid transmission and infrastructure, likely to intensify during the next few years. Stage 4: Cooling infrastructure, growing rapidly right now. Stage 5: Energy storage and grid balancing, expected to become increasingly important as renewable penetration rises. And finally, software and AI applications. Historically, once infrastructure bottlenecks are solved, application companies often capture enormous value. Think Google after internet infrastructure. Think Netflix after broadband. Think Uber after smartphones. The biggest AI application winner may not even exist yet. Now, the conclusion. So, is AI a bubble? Perhaps some company are overhyped. That always happens during technological revolutions. But when we look at the broader ecosystem, many foundational bottlenecks still remain unsolved. And that suggests something important. The AI infrastructure built out may still be in the early stages. Remember, we are not just building software, we are rebuilding the world's computing power and industrial infrastructure. That process could take years, perhaps decades. The key for investors is not to ask, has AI already run too much? Instead, ask, which bottleneck is the market trying to solve next? Because in every industrial revolution, solving bottlenecks creates the next wave of opportunity. What do you think? Are we still early in AI or we are already in a bubble? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this analysis useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. India Market Explained, where markets make sense. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.